For the first time in 30 years, Brazil's president has ordered the army onto the streets of Rio to help the police take on drug gangs that control the city slums. Getting caught in the crossfire is a constant danger for children who live there. Ade Adepitan meets a team of young journalists reporting from inside one of the city's most violent favelas.
Atenção, população. Estamos presentes para garantir a sua segurança e de sua família. Durante as operações, mantenha calma e siga as nossas orientações.
4,000 soldiers and police are entering Lin's favela, a slum neighborhood in Rio. They're expecting a shootout. The area is controlled by the powerful Red Command drug gang.
This is the first time I've ever had to wear a flak jacket and a helmet, but I never expected to have to wear it in a city. I thought it'd be in a war zone. And we're in Rio de Janiero and surrounded by the military.
For the first time in 30 years, soldiers are controlling the streets of Rio.
Oh, man.
They're taking on the gangs who control the favelas, hoping to end an epidemic of murder and violent crime.
That digger has just been smashing this barricade, which was put up by the gangs and the drug dealers to control who goes in and out of the favela.
Os criminosos daqui são extremamente armados, armamento de guerra, muito melhores do que os nossos. Aqui é um lugar único. O Rio de Janeiro é um lugar único. Se a gente for avaliar as estatísticas, a gente está numa guerra.
We're told the Red Command gunmen have fled. It's a game of cat and mouse. Fabio Barreto, a TV correspondent, says for him, the favelas are no-go areas. But they're home to a quarter of Rio's population.
Would you come here to the favela to look for stories if the police and the military weren't here?
Certamente não. Ainda não, porque nós, jornalistas, não temos proteção suficiente por conta do tráfico de drogas. Nós não podemos entrar nas comunidades sem a presença da polícia.
But there is one group of young journalists who are based in the favela and report from inside one of the most dangerous places in Rio.
Muito boa noite a todos, né?
É só apresentar os seguintes cancelas. Eu tô aqui no alto do morro.
They run a news site and paper called Voz de Comunidade. It's based inside Complexo do Alemão, one of Rio's largest and most notorious favelas. In order to film there, we've had to get permission from the Red Command gang that controls this area too. Voz's founder and editor, 24-year-old René Silva, has told me to meet him on the edge of Alemão.
Hey!
Hey! Hello, my friend.
How you doing?
I'm fine.
Good
How
to
are
meet you.
Do you want to know my community?
Yes, I'd love to know your community.
Yeah, for
Show us
sure.
around.
Let's go there.
It's a hot day.
Yeah.
Wow.
Going around the favela by myself is dangerous, so to avoid suspicion from the gangs, I have to make sure I'm always with René or one of his team.
You know everybody here.
Yeah, everybody know about the newspaper.
René founded Voz when he was just 11 years old to report on stories he felt weren't being covered by the media. Today, the national press comes to him for stories about the favela.
This is the place.
Yes. E aí, Luana?
Hello. Hi.
28-year-old Luana Melo is also from Alemão and is Voz's chief reporter.
This is our newspaper printed.
Oh, this is what it looks like.
Yeah.
This is cool.
Voz prints a monthly newspaper, but its team also upload live reports daily to social media. They have 500,000 followers online.
Luana, então, o que nós temos para hoje?
Então, agora eu vou passar alguns links para Betinha, porque ela que está fazendo as postagens no Facebook.
So it's Facebook Live, and all the people who subscribe to Voz da Comunidade, they can see it live.
A few days before we arrive, the team broke an exclusive story.
Deram entrada na unidade, baleadas, inclusive, uma criança de 2 anos, com nome chamado Benjamin, de 2 anos.
Gunmen opened fire on a police car that had ventured into the favela. 3 people died in the crossfire, including a young boy, Benjamin More. After the shooting, the boy's parents, Fabio and Paloma, disappeared, but Luana has tracked them down. They show me a video of Benjamin.
Essa é uma das últimas fotos que eu tirei com ele. E tem vídeo dele dançando.
It's cute. He looks like you.
Sim, idêntico.
Wow.
Ele gostava de escutar música, então ele começava a dançar.
Paloma was buying Benjamin sweets when they were caught in crossfire. Benjamin was killed by a stray bullet. He was about to celebrate his 2nd birthday.
E eu quero que você tente lembrar um pouco daquela noite, como é que foi, o que aconteceu.
Tá, como eu olhei pro meu filho e falei, filho, mamãe te ama. Tem 2 peixes na boca dele. Aí ele respirou 3 vezes assim. Aí o filho, pelo amor de Deus, não vai embora, não deixa a mamãe me tentar, porque a mamãe não tem mais ver de homem, você tá me tentando deixar a bicha minha.
To support Paloma and their other 9 kids, Fabio sells trinkets on the streets.
Eles têm que nem meu filho era pra ir ser enterrado com o cachorro, cagarei em cima. Mas sabe quem que é? As pessoas que ajudou pro meu filho não ser enterrado assim, como filho de cachorro.
When Benjamin died in March, he became the 12th victim of crossfire this year in Rio.
Yeah, that must be a very difficult story for you to cover.
É mais difícil ainda para mim falar dessa história, porque ali onde o Benjamin foi morto, na Nova Brasília, é um local onde eu passo com frequência, quase todo dia.
And what sort of impact do you think this story will have in the community and also outside of the community?
É mais importante ainda a gente retratar sobre tudo aquilo que aconteceu naquele dia 16, onde foi a morte do Benjamin e a morte de outros 2 moradores, para que ações como essa da polícia e do tráfico de drogas não aconteçam dentro da comunidade, naquele horário, daquela forma, com aquela violência. Mas eu tô ligando e tá dando caixa postal. Mas eu vou perguntar aqui pros moradores se tem algum problema.
It's been a long day, but Luana is still working. She's covering another story, and this time it's about flood damage in a local community. Everything okay?
It's okay. Eu tô ligando agora pra presidente da associação de moradores, a Regina, pra saber se a gente pode entrar.
And why is it important for us to talk to the leader?
É importante saber como que tá o clima aqui, se tá tranquilo, se tem algum problema pra gente filmar.
There's a Red Command gang base here, and the traffickers are trigger happy. She needs to get permission before we can report on the story. The community leader isn't answering her phone, but Luana gets to work on her other local contacts.
It is quite remarkable the ties and connections that this young newspaper full of young people have got with their local community, but it shows how important they are. Good?
It's okay.
It's okay.
Okay.
Okay, let's go.
Let's go.
Vamos.
Vamos.
Because there's no proper drainage, heavy rain has caused serious damage to these homes.
Ainda não... Olha a água lá. A água onde chegou. A água lá, a marca.
Aqui. Aqui, ó.
This is the watermark. Oh, man. Hey, look. Look. For me?
Yeah.
In this water?
São as minhas.
Yeah. So did you...
Não, fiquei em cima.
Subiu.
We're going into the home of Conceição. When heavy rain fell, the open sewer below her house backed up and flooded her home.
Encontrou as duas águas, aí derrubou a parede, derrubou ali tudo. E saiu, levou a pia daqui.
How high did the water come up to here?
A água chegou aqui assim, mais ou menos aqui. Aí derrubou a porta da frente e saiu levando tudo.
Conceição now has to live with the stench from the open sewer.
A gente está cobrindo essa história desde que aconteceu. Foi através da gente que a Defesa Civil veio aqui, porque quando a gente chegou, nós fomos o primeiro a falar: Defesa Civil, cadê? Cadê você? Não veio ninguém até aqui visitar.
Luana is about to stream a Facebook Live report saying that a month after the flooding, people are still living in devastated homes.
Boa noite, está começando mais um boletim de notícias. Hoje é dia 28 de março de 2018. Eu estou aqui no Parque Everest para falar as novas informações do que está acontecendo aqui no Parque do Everest.
The Voz team tell me it's too dangerous for me to stay in the favela overnight.
It's coming up to 7 o'clock. And I've been woken up by gunfire. I can hear it in the distance. I'm in my hotel.
Even here on the edge of the favela, you can hear frequent gunfire.
So when I arrived in Rio, I was advised to download an app called Fogo Cruzado. It's basically a sat-nav, but rather than help you avoid traffic, it helps you avoid gunfire. It's just so bizarre to think that people need an app like this to go about their daily lives and feel safe.
My app tells me that there were more shots fired in Complexo do Alemão than anywhere else in Rio this week. Tonight, I'm back with editor René, and I want to know whether his journalists ever worry about repercussions as a result of the work they do.
Would you write stories about the things that the gangs do?
Eu nunca fui impedido de escrever sobre isso, mas eu prefiro não escrever porque eu moro aqui dentro da comunidade ainda. Então, isso acaba sendo um risco muito grande, não só sobre o tráfico, mas sobre a polícia também.
René says that revealing details of the gang's business would risk his life and that of his family. But they do report on the human cost of the constant shootouts between gangs and the police. René shows me one of his reports on his phone. This video captures the death of 20-year-old Caio Moraes. His mother claims he was shot by a police officer during a demonstration in the favela. Ever since his death, Caio's mother, Denise, has been campaigning to get her son's killer prosecuted.
Do you think there will ever be justice for what happened to your son?
Tem que ter. O policial tem que ser preso pra gente mostrar que, mesmo o Brasil não sendo o Brasil dos meus sonhos, mas que a justiça acontece.
What do you think of the work that René is doing?
O que eu acho importantíssimo. Isso vai dar uma base, nos fortalece, entendeu? A gente vê que a gente não está sozinho, que a gente tem outras pessoas aqui dentro que lutam pelos nossos objetivos.
The murder of Denise's son is still being investigated, but human rights groups report that killings such as this one often go unpunished. Two weeks ago, Brazilians took to the streets in anger. All across the country, protests were held following the shocking murder of a city councillor from the favela. Marielle Franco was an outspoken critic of military intervention and police tactics in the favelas. Today, a library in the favela that was closed for 16 months is being reopened in Marielle's name. The governor of Rio arrives to pay his respects. It's a chance for Luana to ask him questions about the investigation into Marielle's death.
Deixa a polícia trabalhar, eles não podem falar do andamento das investigações.
I also have a question.
Could you tell me what needs to be done to change things here?
O que precisa ser feito para mudar as coisas? Eu acho que investir cada vez mais em cultura, em educação, né, na saúde, médicos de família, dar assistência total à população.
Marielle's partner, Monica Teresa, is also here. She's taking on Marielle's role and speaking up about the senseless killings in Rio.
É um absurdo que a gente vem vivendo desse caos de violência. Senhor governador, desculpe, mas a sangue nas suas mãos.
The governor gets a hostile reception. In January alone, at least 154 people were killed by police in Rio State. But the government says it will take all necessary steps to defeat organized crime and gangs. The families of children killed in the crossfire between police and traffickers have left their favelas to protest on Rio's most famous beach, Copacabana. Voz has sent photographer Betinho Casasnovas to cover the event. Parents are hanging the clothes of their dead children. In some cases, these are the clothes they were wearing when they were shot.
So what's it like for you, someone who has grown up in the favelas, to come down here to Copacabana?
É bem esquisito para mim, porque por morador de favela que vive num local segregado, num local onde a violência é constante, é tranquilizador, mas é muito assustador estar aqui nesse local, longe da favela, e não escutar um barulho de tiro, sabe? Pra gente que vive num tiroteio todos os dias.
Pastor Antonio Costa has organized the protest.
Hello. What an incredible day. If someone was killed here,
yeah,
I'm sure it'd be mainstream media.
Yeah.
But if someone was killed in a favela, not many people will talk about it. Why?
We live in a kind of social apartheid. People that live here, they don't know the tragedy. They are not burying their children. This tragedy happens in the slums.
Have you got any hope for Rio and for Brazil?
47 children killed by straight bullet. Imagine something like that in London, in Amsterdam, in New York. This is unacceptable. We tolerate what is intolerable, okay, in our country.
A busload of school children from a favela arrives. The pastor tells me it's 1 year since their classmate was killed by a stray bullet.
Are there lots of shootings at your school or in the favelas that you live in?
Sim. Caveirão já entra. Pou, 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 pou. Se não se abaixar, todo mundo se joga, todo mundo tem que ir pro corredor da escola.
The parents of 2-year-old Benjamin, who was killed in Complexo do Alemão, arrive. It's only been a week since his death.
Eu não tive alegria, sabe? Porque toda vez que a gente entrava no trem, era aquela brincadeira, entendeu? Que não vai existir mais, cara. Assim, se eu soubesse que eu ia ficar sem ele, eu deixaria ele esfriar muito mais, cara, entendeu?
Think of the good times.
Sim, é o que eu vivo. Os bons tempos.
Keep them close, the good times.
Entendeu? Todos os dias.
It's hard to put it into words because the weight of emotion here is just so heavy. But I suppose
This is a small victory for Benjamin's parents because this is what they want. They want the media attention. They want people to hear their story. But the reality is, even if they do get justice, it's never going to bring Benjamin back. And that's what they have to live with for the rest of their lives. It's our last day of filming, and in Complexo do Alemão, favela businesses have donated 5,000 chocolates for Easter Sunday. Oh, go. So everybody. It's pretty exciting times. This is a big time of the year for Voz de Comunidade. Normally they've only got 18 people working for them. It's now about 60 because they're going out into the community. They're distributing the chocolates to the poorest children. Hello, for you? Chocolate? Oh, she's shy. It's obvious to me that these young reporters don't merely write about this community, they're very much a part of it. Is this a great opportunity as well for Voz de Comunidade to get the next generation of kids in the favela interested in your newspaper and the work that you do?
Nós acabamos inspirando essas crianças a nos seguir.
Good day. Voz de Comunidade, eh? Hey, yes. Last year, nearly 1,000 people were injured in crossfire between gangs and police. Over there is Marielle, the murdered politician who spoke out against police brutality. There's Denise's son. He was killed after being caught in crossfire between gangs and police. And perhaps the most tragic was the death of young Benjamin, 2 years old, killed in front of his mother and his young sister. It's all just so sad. But I'm getting the sense that the people of the favela are no longer willing to accept the intolerable. And they're starting to influence the public about the things that are affecting them. And you can see this through the work of the Voz de Comunidade. And my hope is that one day in the future, these walls of death will be replaced by images of heroes from the favela.
On Unreported World, we're at Carnival. Brazil's LGBTQI community are partying on the streets of Sao Paulo. But for them, this year's Carnival has become more of a protest against the newly elected President Bolsonaro. The so-called Trump of the tropics has a history of homophobic comments, and his supporters are now determined to enforce family values. Seyi Rhodes is in the city to see how these opposing sides are battling for very different visions of Brazil's future. And a warning, this film does contain adult themes and some strong language.
This is Gil Denise.
Você sentou mais perto. Yeah.
He's one of Sao Paulo's newly elected state congressmen and a family friend of Brazil's new president, Jair Bolsonaro.
O cheiro da pólvora vicia. Não cheire cocaína, cheire pólvora. Tire.
His mission to restore the moral fibre of his country. This is Luana Hansen. She's a lesbian rapper, furious that the country's politics has swung to the right. Her mission, to fight to protect LGBT rights under the new government.
Eu sou ativista, sou sapatão e a gente vai incomodar sim.
We're here during Carnival, when the LGBT community are out, loud and proud. But the newly elected president has declared himself a proud homophobe. Jair Bolsonaro even said he'd rather have a dead son than a gay son. Just hours after his inauguration, Bolsonaro scrapped the government unit that protected LGBT rights. For many, this was his opening shot in a major cultural battle, all part of an effort to silence the LGBT community.
Liberdade e amor, e viva a felicidade do Carnaval. Muito obrigado.
I've been keeping an eye on the news since I came to Brazil, and some of the homophobic murders and attacks are horrific. There was a man who was anally raped by his colleagues in a car wash. They used a high-pressure hose pipe and killed him with internal injuries. There's another story about a trans woman who had her heart ripped from her body and replaced by the image of a saint.
The Inter-American Commission on Human Rights says homophobic attacks almost trebled during President Bolsonaro's campaign. As a staunch conservative, Congressman Gil doesn't approve of Carnival. Instead, he's invited me to join in his favourite tradition, a Brazilian barbecue.
Professional.
What?
Professional. No, you know what you're doing. You do it. Obrigado. I always have this impression of Brazilians and the barbecue, but it's always men. It's a very masculine tradition. Is that correct?
É uma característica da identidade nacional.
Gil's friend President Bolsonaro has become his political mentor. They've both been elected on a promise to restore Brazilian family and religious values.
There's quite a strong sense in Brazil of this is a man and this is a woman. For instance, there seems to be this obsession with boys wear blue and girls wear pink. Would it bother you if your son was playing with dolls and kitchens and wearing pink clothes?
Não me incomodaria. Meus meninos jogam bola, brincam de carrinho, fazem arte marcial, lutam karatê, são escoteiros. Agora, o que eu não permito, o que eu não posso permitir, que na escola, professoras incentivando eles a brincar de boneca.
Next week, Gil will take his seat as a new congressman in Sao Paulo's State Assembly. He says his party's first priority will be to stop children being taught in school about LGBT rights.
O professor ele tá ali para passar um conteúdo, para ensinar português, matemática. Ele não tá ali para ensinar ou aflorar a sexualidade da criança. Isso é uma responsabilidade que cabe ao pai e à mãe.
Across town, rapper Luana is raising her family.
É o meu momento também favorito, buscar na escola.
She's picking up her children, Lenin and Manuela. Luana and her wife are the only gay parents at the school.
So that seemed quite relaxed in terms of the other parents. Is it always like that?
Quando as pessoas ficam em cima da Manuela eu não sinto tanto, acho que é porque ela é mulher, mas com o Lenin eu vejo uma cobrança maior de não ter essa presença masculina. Então aí eu vejo que as pessoas meio que acham que o Lenin vai virar gay.
Oh.
The couple met 4 years ago when Glaucia came out. She already had her 2 children.
Eu não sei viver sem a Manuela, sem o Lenin. Eu brinco, eu falo até com ela, falo assim, ó, se a gente um dia terminar, eles vão ser meus filhos, porque A gente até brinca, porque é um amor, é extenso, é maior, é inexplicável. O amor que eles me dão é natural.
Brazilian conservatives glorify the traditional family, but Luana feels families like hers are being undermined.
A gente sabe que, de uma maneira ou outra, todo o ódio que tem em cima da gente transmuta para eles. As pessoas olham para eles como se eles tivessem culpa de ter duas mães, sabe?
Luana earns a living rapping about life as a black lesbian in Brazil. But she says in the last few months, her radical lyrics have made mainstream venues reluctant to book her.
Só que é uma relação que dá muito medo, porque quando a gente não consegue alguma coisa, ou quando o mês aperta...
Glaucia is unemployed, but tomorrow she's got a job interview.
So Glaucia, what kind of look are you going for?
I guess I try to be straight, normative look, because I need to have a more regular job so we can have more stability right now. A lot of friends of mine, they can't say that they are lesbians at the work. Okay.
While Glaucia has to play straight for work, this year's Carnival crowd are challenging Bolsonaro and the Conservatives.
This is Kevin's party. He used to be a private sex party. Everyone would turn up naked in a nightclub somewhere in Sao Paulo and basically have sex and dance all night. But this year, the first year of Bolsonaro's presidency, they've decided to take it out onto the streets, and now it's just another carnival party. It's chaps, it's thongs, it's three-way snogging. This is the kind of thing that Gil and the conservative movement in Brazil would absolutely despise.
While they're pushing boundaries, Congressman Gil is about to start pushing legislation. He's invited me into the heart of President Bolsonaro's mission control in Sao Paulo.
Gil. How are you, man?
PSL party state headquarters.
So as Bolsonaro is such an important influence in this party, what do you think he's expecting from these guys, the leadership?
Não, ele espera que nós sigamos a linha dele, né? Essa linha de combate à corrupção, de enfrentamento ao crime organizado, de enxugar a máquina pública, né?
While the president appears to have toned down his anti-gay rhetoric since taking office, I want to find out how LGBT rights fit in with the new government's politics.
He's the main man. Yeah, he's the main man. Gay? Yeah. Seriously? You got that right.
His gay joke aside, Gil introduces me to Rodrigo Moraes, one of the party's policymakers.
But yeah, I mean, of course, I'm a conservative, I'm a right-winger. I'm actually a big fan of Nigel Farage.
Oh, really?
Depois dele você tem o Trump, né? Você tem Bolsonaro, você tem na Polônia, Hungria, Colômbia, então.
Well, yeah.
Rodrigo believes LGBT rights are a distraction.
What the elections are showing all around the world, not only Brazil, that this is more like some outsider agenda, and not the little people's agenda. You know what I mean? Maybe gay marriage is not what we really need today. I mean, we can talk about gay marriage. You have your opinion, I have mine, he has his. It is not the core issue.
Is it fair to say then that you see everything, whether it be gay rights, gay marriage, gay adoption, it's not a done deal for you in Brazil?
Oh, it will never be. It will never be. It will never be. I don't think we're gonna get that settled because, well, you get one right and you want the next one, right?
Okay.
is Avenida Paulista, and every Sunday it gets pedestrianized so that people can come out and do pretty much whatever they want. So you've got everybody in their little tribes. There are a group of socialists protesting down there. There are a group of punks singing and dancing over the corner here. And right here, there's a group of conservatives protesting. They call this the Gaza Strip because there are so many different competing ideologies who regularly clash.
Fora liberal! Fora liberal! Viva o nacionalismo! Viva!
Out in force today are some of Sao Paulo's radical right-wing groups.
Defenda nossa cultura! Não é pelo bem do Brasil!
Further down the road, Luana is busking with her family.
Marchar contra o racismo eu vou, marchar contra a violência, marchar pelo bem viver, pelo bem viver, pelo bem viver.
E a luta continua sempre. Muito obrigado pelo espaço.
Are you sometimes afraid to do your more militant stuff out in the public?
Eu aprendi a militar, a lutar e acreditar e usar o hip hop, usar o rap. Então a gente está aqui ocupando esse espaço é militância também.
When I speak to you both, you're Brazilian. You're clearly very proud to be Brazilian.
Eu amo o Brasil, amo mesmo, de verdade. É a minha terra, é o meu povo, é o clima, é a comida, é meu povo mesmo, mas eu falo isso de coração partido, mas eu como lésbica, eu não posso criar meus filhos do jeito que eu queria. Eu não vou poder dar a vida que eu quero dar para meus filhos. E aí, então, infelizmente, se hoje eu tivesse uma oportunidade de ir para um outro país.
Luana is eligible for a German passport, so she could leave if things get really bad.
Eu acho que para mim a gota d'água seria a agressão chegar direta mesmo para mim, assim, direta mesmo, assim, do fato de eu sair de casa, que eu não vejo tão distante da nossa realidade, mas eu acho que seria uma gota d'água mesmo, assim. Para mim a gota d'água já foi dada quando a gente aceitou o Bolsonaro como presidente, assim.
Luana's fear isn't far-fetched. Brazil is now one of the world's most dangerous places to be LGBT. Someone from that community is killed every 16 hours. Later that night, I'm back on Avenida Paulista. I'm here to meet Anderson Souza. 2 months ago, he was here with his husband at the height of the president's campaign.
Daí nós estava vindo do Ibirapuera, que a gente foi ver um show lá, aí chegou do nada, falando que a gente era duas menininhas, pra gente andar igual homem, lá é 2 viadinhos. Nisso ele já veio por aqui, na nossa direção, minha e do meu marido, ofendendo a gente, falando que a gente era preto, que a gente tinha que morrer, que a gente era viado.
Anderson and his friends began to chase the man away, not realizing his husband had been stabbed.
É a hora que ele levanta a camiseta e vê que ele toma uma facada.
This is where you say.
Isso, que ele faz assim com a blusa. Não vai, eu tomei uma facada. E tava falando com ele. Tipo, fala comigo, não dorme. E a partir disso ele não falou mais nada. Igual eu falei, ele paralisou o olho, só olhou pra mim e uma lágrima escorreu. A única coisa que aconteceu.
Was he breathing?
Não, nem esperava.
Anderson's husband, Plinio de Almeida Lima, was 30 years old. A man has been charged with his murder.
Chego do serviço, não tem aquela palavra, sabe? Tipo, tô com você. Tô passando várias coisas na minha vida, mas não tem mais ele pra sentar nego, ó. Vai por aqui. Sabe? Porque ele poderia ter todos os efeitos, mas ele era coração, sabe? E hoje eu vejo sem isso, sabe? Hoje eu vejo sem minha felicidade.
rise of the conservative right in Brazil has galvanized the LGBT population. Today they're having a protest right in the middle of Carnival. They're trying to encourage the courts to make homophobia illegal, just like racism.
Nós estamos vivendo tempos muito difíceis no Brasil. Não deixem que ninguém pisoteie a nossa dignidade.
Luana and Glaucia have come to join in.
Is this a protest or a party?
É mais fácil. Muito mais fácil do que protesto.
What would it mean to you if homophobia was actually made illegal?
Para mim, o principal de a gente criar uma lei a respeito, virar um crime, é porque tudo que é criminal você tem que tratar com prevenção. Então, além de virar um crime, é você parar de tratar a gente como invisível. É uma maneira de a gente viver mesmo e fazer parte da sociedade.
Paz do Carnaval!
President Bolsonaro has said same-sex marriages are a blow to family unity and family values. So just before he was elected, Luana and Glaucia rushed to tie the knot like hundreds of other same-sex couples across Brazil.
É casamento que era casamento tipo ato político também contra o Bolsonaro. A gente postou nossa foto de casamento. E aí, dentre os comentários, a gente começa a receber isso aqui, ó.
Do you know this person?
Não. E aí, tipo, a gente começa a receber de várias pessoas, ó. Que eles são, tipo, eu acho que são tipo haters que vão entrando.
The courts and politicians have been debating this homophobia law for 7 years. President Bolsonaro will fight it every step of the way. Gil has been doing his own research.
Sim, é a parada gay. Já fazem 2 ou 3 que eu fui lá para ver em loco, né? E até fazer algumas imagens.
Gil uploaded the images to his YouTube channel. To him, they're proof that Carnival is no longer a place for families.
E deixei para o público aí avaliar se, por exemplo, uma parada como aquela é um ambiente, né, uma festa para crianças.
Do you think the other people in this bar would agree with you?
I do.
Não, é bom.
You do? Yeah?
It came to a point where basically there's propaganda in schools of it, okay? So a lot of young guys are, you know, it's like, no, you have to try it. If you don't like it, it's okay.
Really?
It's something like this.
Their teachers are trying to tell them they should try being gay.
They don't want to say it, but eventually you get to figure out that that's what's happening.
Gil and Ricardo tell me they're sick of playing politically correct.
Estão criminalizando a opinião. Você vai lá dar sua opinião, você é, sei lá, racista. Você é contra a cota, racista. Você é contra a sexualização de crianças em sala de aula. Você é homofóbico.
The next day, I'm at Love Fest. It's the biggest LGBT gathering of this year's Carnival in Sao Paulo. Luana and Glaucia are preparing for a big day.
Oh my God, so much glitter. The conservative politician that I've been spending time with came to Gay Pride last year and filmed it. And he was filming children and men kissing, and he put that all on YouTube. Do you think you'll see more of that kind of thing today?
Isso daí já é uma coisa típica deles. Eles pegam imagens nossas, aleatórias, e criam filmes. Eles vão usar muito isso. Eu acho que é um prato cheio.
Before I came to Brazil, I had the impression that the LGBT community were going to be afraid, hiding. But what I found is actually you're more active, more present.
Então agora o que cabe mesmo é incomodar, é fazer revolução, é ir pra rua, é meter bandeira, é se assumir, é beijar mesmo na rua, é mostrar a nossa cara, porque se a gente não fizer isso, a gente vai ser invisibilizado mais do que a gente já vem sendo há anos.
there's nothing invisible about this. Everyone is loved up and they're dancing their hearts out. This really is an act of defiance. And Luana has finally got a paying gig. She's performing to her biggest crowd ever.
And it feels like half the city's come out for it. They were totally jumping with you. Amazing.
Luana's anti-Bolsonaro lyrics are such a hit, she's invited back for an encore. The day after we left, President Bolsonaro tweeted an explicit video of a gay sex act taking place at Carnival. He said he wanted to expose the truth about what Carnival has become.